Welcome to the last edition of Research Fantasy Presents the NBA Fantasy Baller for the regular season. It's Wednesday, April 12th. What a fun season it has been. This has been arguably the best season of basketball that I can remember. Definitely the best year in terms of DFS basketball. Don't know how much more growth there really is unless the industry really figures out a way to bring in a large swath of new users. But we saw some really big prize pools offered pretty consistently, even on small nights, being able to give away $100,000 to first place at a $4 buy-in is just way beyond what we were used to in previous years. So kudos to both FanDuel and DraftKings for what they were able to do. I'm going to handle things a little bit differently tonight because, like I joked about in my value video yesterday, like it's 9:20 in the morning. By the time you watch this at 5 o'clock, there's going to be 14 or 15 value plays that are better value plays than what I listed. And the same thing goes for the core plays. I mean, like I recorded 9 a.m. By 4 o'clock, Devin Booker wasn't playing. So right there, 33% of the guys that I wanted to be heavy on were not able to be played. So rather than waste time and, go through our three favorite core plays and our three favorite tournament plays, because it just doesn't make sense right now until we know the most information possible. And with a 14-game slate, it is going to be tough. Like, I'm really trying to figure out how much I want to play tonight. It's the last night of basketball, so you kind of feel like, well, you have to. For people, especially for people who aren't going to try to play playoff basketball, this is it. This is the end of the game. It's going to be 6.5 months until you're able to play regular season NBA DFS again. It's crazy. It's actually the worst, I think, is the best way to put it. It is the absolute worst. And so here we enter the summer months with just baseball left. And if you read my article today, you'll kind of catch a feeling for what I really think about baseball. But nonetheless, here's how I'm kind of handling things tonight. Let's just look at the players who have something to play for. And I'm referring specifically to teams that have something to play for. All right, so right now there is specifically a 3-team playoff situation for the last 2 spots in the East. Those teams are the Miami Heat, the Indiana Pacers, the Chicago Bulls. So 2 of those 3 teams are going to make it to the playoffs. Right now, I believe the Bulls are on the outside looking in. The Pacers have the 7th seed. The Heat holding on to the 8th seed. These are going to be the best places to look for your fantasy production because they actually, like I said, have something to play for. Like if they don't win and the other teams do, it could be the end for the Pacers, if they don't win tonight. So, I mean, Paul George obviously jumps to the top of the heap. Jimmy Butler jumps to the top of the heap. Excuse me. Miami's a little bit different. Like, I don't know exactly how I want to go with Miami. I think Goran Dragic is a good option. I think Hassan Whiteside's a good option. I think James Johnson's a good option. But it could always be one of the other players like a Josh Richardson or a Tyler Johnson that has a big game and throws a wrench into those plans. But those are the teams I would definitely focus around. Moving on from there, Boston Celtics and the Cavs are fighting for the first spot in the East. The Cavs have kind of halfway tossed in the towel by saying LeBron's not going to play the last game. I cannot imagine why a team would want to not want the top seed. That's just, I mean, of all things, the Cavs really look like a team right now that just doesn't want it, and that's not where you want to be headed into the playoffs. The Celtics play Milwaukee. That's tough. But there's been rumors that Giannis Middleton and Tony Snell are going to rest. And if that's the case, I mean, you're taking a lot of that length and defensive capabilities off the floor, making it a lot easier for Boston to operate. Cleveland plays the Raptors, again, a team that really doesn't have anything to play for. They're locked into their playoff spot, so they have no reason to really fight other than the fact that they might not want Cleveland to have the top seed. It's kind of irrelevant, though, because they're not the top seed, so they don't get home seeding in the playoffs if the Cavs and them met in the finals. So I don't know why they wouldn't want to play or why they, whatever. The Bucks and the Hawks have not settled their playoff positioning yet. This is as of last night. It appears that they have given up. Excuse me, Jesus. They have given up any interest in tightening their playoff spot. No, it appears that they have. It appears that they have locked their spots in after the Hawks game last night. Okay, so the West is a completely different story. Everything's settled there except for the 4-5 seed, which is the Clippers and the Jazz. That is something to play for, especially considering these two would play each other in the opening round. Having home field advantage against your opponent is going to be important. So there is definitely something for them to play tough for. Utah gets a toughish matchup against the Spurs at home. The Clippers get a matchup with the Kings at home. Obviously, the Clippers have a much better opportunity to lock things down tonight than the Jazz. I think the Clippers own the tiebreakers, so if they both win, it looks like the Clippers will sit at the 4 seed. But, again, two more teams with things to play for. In terms of value, like I said, it's going to be tough. At 9:30 in the morning, I could tell you that, well, if Giannis is sitting, you want to look at Brogdon, maybe Monroe. But by 6:30, we're looking at a whole slew of different players that could be usable, so I don't want to waste too much time with that. I would just focus on the teams like the Pacers, like the Bulls, like the Heat, the Cavs without LeBron. Kyrie and Love look like they're in a good spot. The Celtics, the Clippers, and the Jazz, I think you can take core guys out of those games and start your daily fantasy basketball. I'm sorry about all the yawning. I don't know what's going on. Apparently, my body just didn't rest at all last night. But anyway, thank you for joining. I have not decided what I'm going to do with the playoffs yet. So, this could be the last video. I'm kind of leaning towards probably not. I think I will probably go the route of doing a playoff videos for basketball. So, thank you for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe below to our YouTube channel. Head over to researchfantasy.com. Sign up for our NBA mailing list. Like us on Facebook. Follow us on Twitter at Research and Win. And join us again tomorrow.